Hi everybody, I'm Seamus.
I'm Josh.
I'm Root Scout.
Mumbles.
And I'm Chris.
And there are a lot of us right now. This is a lot of hosts to be doing this. And we're playing
I'm
Alan
confident
Wake.
we're not going to talk over each other all the time, though, and interrupting each other's diatribe.
Let's go! Okay, what?
Stephen King.
Fortunately, nobody rose to that bait.
Logic, and there's little fun.
So this is
So-
Alan Wake.
They're antithetical to the poetry of fear. In a horror
Now,
story, Stephen keeps asking why,
I've made it
but
pretty
there
clear
can be
on
no
the blog that I'm a
explanation, and there
huge
shouldn't be.
survival horror fan.
unanswered
I'm very
mysteries
much
will
interested
stay
in the
with us
genre.
forever.
I'm interested in the genre because it's a genre built around the idea of eliciting an emotional reaction. Most other genres are about where the camera is or what the gameplay is like, but survival horror is about an emotion, which is
I've always
weird
had a
because
vivid
most
imagination,
survival horror
but this
games
dream unsettled me.
that are classified that way
wild and
don't
dark
actually
and weird,
don't
even
actually
by my
elicit that
standards.
emotion. Very few of them actually hit the
So
mark.
yes, it began with
Now when they
me.
do hit, they're really good. And I've criticized this game a couple times now, saying, "Oh, it's not very scary." And the first thing people say is,
Trying to reach my
"Well, it's not
destination
supposed to be
on my
scary."
house. For some urgent reason, I couldn't remember. I've been driving too fast down a coastal road.
That doesn't really
To be
hold
fair-
up in this game. Everything about this game's presentation is supposed to be scary.
I
call
have my
bullshit.
reasons for saying that
I
this
call
is not
bullshit.
a horror game.
Late.
Okay,
Which
that's
we
the
will
first
explore.
Stephen King reference, because someone got hit by a car. And that's
Actually,
Yeah,
the first
and well-
Stephen King reference was the first two words of this game.
Shut up, Rutscar! I'm talking about metaphorically!
Yeah, so I mean,
So pretty much
okay, fine. It's
going
not
like a standard Reginald Cuthbert dream right here.
run somebody over and leave. But so okay, it's not supposed to be scary. Then what conclusions are we supposed to be drawing about this game? What is it if it's not supposed to be a scary game? Because Stephen King
I was in
writes
shock from the crash.
scary
I could
books.
hardly stand my feet.
So what is this game about if it's not about scaring? It's,
Chris?
Oh, I can't move. What? No, I don't. I don't want to reverse my controls. There we go.
I was just gonna say it's
play.
Chris?
This is we are off to a great
Josh,
start here. Chris
Josh,
can't even say
if you
anything.
interrupt Chris again, I will bitch slap you. Please continue, Chris.
I was just gonna say that it really feels to me more like a suspense game. We haven't seen it yet, but they reference Twilight
Yeah.
Zone fairly frequently, and it's not so much Stephen King the horror, but Stephen King the suspense novelist. I think that they're really going
the
for.
lighthouse.
I
Except, here's
believe
the
there's
problem with that.
actually a line in the game that the game was like that Alan Wake says like this is turning into a Stephen King novel. I have to stop it or
Yes.
something along those lines.
But here's the thing. It's a crappy suspense game for it's a really terrible game about suspense because everything is punctuated by like a narration and a cutscene. So you're never going to get
Yeah.
ambushed by a sudden attack from the darkness. It's going to like pan over to see them coming out from the trees. That's not suspense. That's the gentlest possible way of introducing those enemies.
Or I could just jump off the edge. I'm glad the game let me do that. I thought it would
So
put
I-
up an invisible wall.
That's totally what I
We're
was
gonna-
expecting to.
So here's a little fun game for the viewers. Try to see artifacts like vestigial gameplay characteristics and weird design choices from when this game was supposed to be a free-running GTA-esque game. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
so
was-
That
this
would have been
is-
awesome.
This is a Remedy game, so it's got a lot of the Remedy game
Remedy for what?
niches and pastiches. Remedy Entertainment, guys who did Max Payne 1 and 2. So, you know, you got the narrator narrating stuff.
Narrator's gonna
Can you
narrate.
touch him? Can you touch the shadow guy? Oh, no, he wants to hurt you. Run away!
Yeah. Oh, wow. That killed me.
Really.
Imagine that.
That's actually surprising because this game is very forgiving with damage.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this game was actually announced. I remember this game was announced back when I was like in early high school, which
Yeah, this
most
was like
people- yeah.
2005.
So like a couple months
It was announced
ago.
at E3 2005. Shut up, Mumbles. It was announced at E3 2005. And then it was in development and sort of finally released August 2009? No, April 2010, sorry. That was when it was undergoing final polishing. Was in August 2009. So, point is, obviously this game wasn't working for a very long time, and if there's one thing that Duke Nukem Forever wrote in the sky in massive flaming letters, it's that a long development cycle is not a good sign.
No.
I love this game.
Did anyone scan
focus
that?
buttons.
Did anyone scan that phone thing on the? Oh, please stop
Yeah,
doing that! I'm seriously getting nauseous.
Jesus Christ, Josh.
Hang on, let's see.
Hey.
I have not
I got my
scanned it. I
phone
meant
here.
to.
Here, let
Okay,
me
so we're
scan
gonna
it.
do this.
Bleep, bloop, bleep.
So yeah, this goes to
I am
mention-
scan-
Let's see here. Come on. Yeah, you can see it.
Wee
It's right
it
there.
says it's
Scan it.
an Easter egg.
So this dream sequence is basically a tutorial to introduce people to the core mechanics of the game, and it while it does a really good job of that, it does a very bad job of, I think, setting up the story and the setting.
Facebook.com/Alan Wake. Do you want to
Yes.
open this webpage?
What did I?
No.
Hey,
Don't.
Josh, what did I tell you about interrupting Chris? What were you saying, Chris?
Just that it does a very good job of setting up the mechanics, but a very poor job of introducing the setting, the story, or any of the tone of the.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the
Yeah,
first
it's
thing
a
I
little
noticed.
clumsy.
Yeah.
I was like, right here, I was totally on board. It's like, okay, I have no weapon. It's a little weird here. This is. What are you doing, Josh? You. But yeah,
Ow.
it's almost like the tutorial sucks the scary. Like, it sort of makes an uneasy situation there with the car. You're like, okay, this is a little weird. And then it immediately kills it with this tutorial.
Yes, because it's not scary like trying to run away from something, like keeping up a sense of urgency. It's moving you from zone to zone to teaching you things. Here's something that would have been scary. Here's something that wasn't scary, is a better way of putting it. Back there, basically what it had you do was it ushered you into a pen, and it had you dodge like a matador for a few moments before it let you through its plot gate. What would have been better
Who
is,
else
oh
has
shit,
done that?
yeah. What would have been better, Assassin's Creed. What would have been better is, there's the gate on the other side, that's your only escape, and he's in the way. You need to dodge around him and get through the gate.
And I believe that gamers could have figured that shit out. I don't think that someone needed to be like, oh, you gotta dodge to get out of the way. Like, I think people could have figured it out.
The other problem here is the narration. Every time you start settling into, what should I be thinking? What's going on here? Then the narrator shows up and kind of soothes you. Don't worry, it's just a little mysterious. You're not in real serious danger because I'm not panicked. And so he's sort of setting the tone for you, and it's less scary than what the scenery might lead you to believe that you should be feeling.
Clay Stewart. So this guy says, it's me, it's Clay Stewart, like you should know him. I'm pretty sure he doesn't show up again in this game. Like, this is a dream.
He's from his book. That's what I thought. He's from his book. Like, he wrote that
maybe.
character.
Okay, so coming up here, one genuinely scary part in the game, like pretty much the one genuinely scary moment in the game. You're in this house, it starts shaking and like, you know, it's creepy and you need to find a way out, but you're not actually sure, like, if there is one that you're not seeing, and you start to panic. That was scary.
There was no way out.
I'm saying this even before it happens so you can like watch how it builds up the tension, but also because, like, I feel like it's important to point this out.
It's cool
This is a
when
gold
a
star
game
moment.
says, look for a button, and there's no button. I really like when games do that.
Realize that, oh, hey, you can't go out of it until the eyeball stops screaming. Stop screaming, eyeball!
The cabin was a death trap.
And we're dumping on this game a lot. I don't think this game is horrible. I think we're just enumerating all the ways that it kind of fails to execute on the scary thing, which it has all the elements. I mean, okay, you've got a guy who's a Stephen King-esque author. I mean, that's sort of like a Get Out, that's sort of a built-in lampshade.
But to be honest, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you make your main character a writer, because that sets up everything that character does or says or narrates has to be golden. Because that guy's a professional writer, so he should know how to like write or at least organize his thoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and here's double jeopardy. You're making the character's a writer, base all of his actions off of Stephen King, which sets up contrast between how Stephen King's books are pretty good and this game isn't very good.
Yeah.
And the writing and horror in this game are not up to the Tommyknocker or something.
If you can't write as
Have
good
you
as
read the
Stephen King
Tommyknocker?
or write as good
I haven't
as
actually
a
read
good writer, then don't make that your main character.
I bet the Tommyknockers is actually like his worst piece of shit book ever.
Tommyknockers is an awful, awful, awful story.
Okay.
It ends about as well as Alan Wake ends, though, so there's that.
So
Not a
apparently,
good sign.
a spotlight has entered my dreams and wants to teach me shit. Get the fuck out of my dreams.
Yeah,
That's
this
heavy.
I
really
like fighting dark axe murder.
this really killed it for me. Like everything before now, I was a little, oh, okay, this is a little weird. This is neat, and then you've got this ball of light talking. Now I know it's explained later, and it's built on later, but just as an introduction to a story trying to set a spooky mood, having God talk to you and say, hi, I'm here to help. Here is a bunch of stuff that you need, and I'll teach you in a safe environment how to use it. That's
So check this out.
a complete mood killer.
Yeah.
Alan Wake has super flashlight powers. And he can
Okay.
drain the batteries really
So-
fast.
I'll point this out later, but the thing is, like, this is introduced as like, okay, like it's a darkness mechanic and it's segregated from regular gameplay. But there's like one part where you can totally do this outside of like the horror element. Like when you're exploring the house coming up, you can totally focus
Yeah.
your flashlight beam
Yeah.
into a god-killing laser for no reason.
That guy took more bullets than he should have.
I was just about to say, that was a couple more shots than I expected it to take.
Did you accidentally put this up on Nightmare, Josh?
Yeah, are you playing
No.
on super hard?
No.
Oh, I was really disappointed that Nightmare was locked from the beginning because the other difficulties are actually really easy.
Yeah, I haven't finished the PC version of this game, so I don't actually have Nightmare unlocked. If we got a TV tuner card and I hook this up to my Xbox, then I could totally play Nightmare if you want.
If we had a TV tuner, yeah, no, Josh.
None of that stuff.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
We're not throwing money at you.
I knocked him off.
We're not paying money to add another layer of technological snafus to this already pretty hairy process.
Yeah, this thing's already a Rube Goldberg divide.
What other games?
It's a miracle.
What other games have lighthouses in them? We have BioShock, Myst.
Half-Life 2.
Myst has a lighthouse.
Lego Island.
Half-Life 2.
Lego fucking Island.
Oh, Lego
up,
Island,
Rockstar.
man. I could not get that game to run on my 1996 crappy Windows PC.
Shit
don't know
was
why.
GTA in elementary school.
But I always felt like the lighthouse.
Oh,
was like
yeah,
weird.
we got the flare gun.
Josh is just gonna.
Josh, wait your turn like everybody else. Jeez, man.
Oh shit, coffee! I love coffee!
So, like all other writers, Alan Wake has replaced his blood with concentrated coffee.
I'm almost finished your point, and then I'll come back to the coffee.
Okay. For some reason, I feel like lighthouses are a pretty like big staple in games. Like I don't know why, but whenever I think of a lighthouse, I think, oh yeah, that's totally in a lot of games. But it's only in like maybe 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, it's not huge.
Now that you mention it, I mean, they are like windmills. They're kind of these things that you don't see in real life often, but they love to put them in movies because they're just filled with symbolism and stuff. But yeah, you don't see that many in games. Now that you mention it.
So, you guys, I'm probably going to be the one defender of this
Didn't work. No, I'm with you on defending this game. So the two people who have finished this game so far are me and Chris. And lo and behold, we are the two people who are more supportive of this game.
I don't want to say that I'm disapproving of this game. I'm kind of picking on it using my, it presents itself as a story that I think it builds the expectations that it would be scary, and then it fails at that. I don't think it's a terrible game. I'm enjoying it.
It's basically
I
don't really support that though. Case in point, the coffee thermoses. So that's what I'm talking about when I say Vestiges is like an open world thing. The collectible coffee thermoses. Those really had no business being in this game.
Agreed.
I thought they were odd.
Yeah, it's just so like it feels like I'm playing Psychonauts or something, or like a Rockstar.
Do they refill your health or something?
No, they do nothing. They do jack
that's
shit.
So stupid.
But if you
It's
get them
just
all,
like-
you get an achievement. Which, if this was a console, that would mean something.
Let me take a moment out of my busy
This
schedule
was
of
originally-
dealing with eldritch horrors and shining flashlights on my opponents to defeat the darkness within my own soul, to take this collectible shiny coffee thermos and shove it straight up my asshole, apparently, because I don't know where I'm supposed to be carrying this thing.
It doesn't help that
Baby, just
the
another
game
nightmare.
already has a
Everything's
bunch of
fine.
collectible
You don't
items in it
stop.
that are relevant to the plot.
Anything more than dozed off.
Yeah, like batteries and revolvers and manuscript pages.
Cheer up,
Manuscript
handsome.
pages, which we'll
We're
get
here.
to at some point here.
So even if you're an obsessive collector freak, you still got stuff to collect that's relevant to the plot and fits with the milieu and makes sense for the character to be collecting and are interesting. Why are there coffee thermoses?
I think it's like you said, it was already in the game and they just were too lazy to take it out.
Yeah.
So this
someone
is
really
what
liked blue coffee thermoses.
this is
You
what
know,
I would probably. Go ahead.
You
Shut up, Shamus,
No.
or I'll bitch slap you for interrupting Chris.
This is probably what I would consider the actual beginning of the game, because if you really buy the idea that it's a suspense game, you need the story and the narrative, and the tutorial had none of it, and
Yeah.
it was weightless.
Let's act like we're on vacation.
yes.
Go stand next to that old.
I'm with that, and here's where I think the game caught my interest. Like the tutorial, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of spooky. Oh no, it's just kind of goofy, and I lost it. And then I really liked this scene. It brought me into Alan Wake's little world here, made me care about him. I thought this
Made
was
me
a
care
strong
about
scene.
him, huh? Okay, I'm
did.
about to come in on the opposite direction. Alan Wake is
Alright.
a dick.
All right, let's,
Seriously, like
let's hear
more
the- let's
like
hear about-
Alan Wanker.
You don't
I
have the
don't
right
see
to say
why-
that.
Why famous writers don't have room to be dicks. Because I thought that was
Well,
kind
yeah.
of in their job description.
But just like,
Look-
there's just this kind of relentless unpleasantness coming from Alan Wake's direction that like sort of makes like, look at this guy, he's like so polite. Like, I hope I'm not presumptuous. He's like, look, I'm on vacation.
If we could keep my
All right, bitch.
just between the two
Don't
of us,
even talk to me.
I'm sure you understand.
I love that Alan Wake has a tweed jacket with patches in the elbows. It is just so...
I'd agree with the assessment that Alan Wake's a jerk. I mean, he is a jerk, but he benefits A from the agent who's about to call him Barry being a much bigger jerk, and B
Yes.
from the fact.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, I am.
And he's got
And the love for his his wife.
love for his wife, and I think just the general problems he's having. I mean, he's under a lot of pressure, and he came here to sort of get away from that writer's life and see if he can get his muse going again. And as somebody who's done some writing, I kind of empathized a lot with what Alan Wake is going through. So yeah, I think you're right that he's a bit of a jerk, and that didn't put me off the character. I think it humanized him a little for me.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna look for specific examples as the series continues, pointing out places where he's being a complete doo-doo face. And yes, Chris, you are correct, or maybe it was Josh. Barry is a bigger jerk and a terrible character, and it is going to be Christmas morning when he finally shows up, and I get to talk about how awful he is and what a bad
He's an awesome
decision he
character.
was.
What's wrong with
Alan, we're here. Come on.
He
Yeah,
was
Barry's
the
awful.
worst possible character to have in a horror game.
Barry is the best character in the game.
It's like you know the Stephen King character is like always cracking jokes, and he's the funny guy. You know what the point of that character is? That when scary
die.
stuff happens to him, he shuts up. because it demonstrates the contrast between like him cracking wise and shit just got real. It doesn't work in this game because he still keeps cracking wise. He's not like he doesn't change character. He does. It's not that he's like actually being clever. It's just that like the writers are trying to be clever and funny through his panicking, and it's like he becomes like it's almost like if he was like a comic stereotype of something.
Well, I mean, I think that's
like a horror scenario.
That's why he's in there, though, because Alan Wake himself is a jerk, and he's going through all this psychological terror, and if it wasn't for Barry, you would have zero comic relief, because Alan's not going to start cracking jokes, and the game is very self-serious, very heavy.
That's not true. This game actually reminds me a little bit of Twin Peaks, because there are
I think it was definitely going for that.
Goofy. There are some goofy fucking
That shot
elements.
right there, I love that, where it pans over, he's walked in the door next to a cardboard cutout of himself, looking like a dick, holding his own book.
I know people say that all the time, but
Really, he brought that on himself when he approved that cardboard cutout of him holding his own book.
And fangirl.
Carl?
Oh man, is it just me or is there something direly, desperately wrong with lip syncing in this game?
Oh, so the facial animations in this game make everyone look like they have Down syndrome or something. It is so incredibly distracting.
It looks like everyone has lockjaw.
Well, okay.